Hey, Ellie and Sienna. My throat chakra is open right now. It's very open. It is the most open I have felt it in quite some time. And it is not always open. In fact, it is often closed. And so I am cranking out as many videos as I can for you and for my audience. But for now, it's just for you girls. But I'm sure there will be people that watch that get something out of this. And this is video 7, the power of journaling, or your diary if you're a girl or woman or female, or you just like diaries better than journals, then call it a diary. For me, I call it a journal. The power of journaling or your diary, and why you should start one right now. So to give this some context, I have some journals in my back closet from over the ages as a young man, young boy, to a young man, to some years while I was married. And then around early 2014, I started an electronic journal in March of 2014 when I was hitting a rock bottom. I did a video recently about the rock bottom. I think it was video 5 for you daughters, Ellie and Sienna. And in that rock bottom, knowing that I was going to probably get divorced and feeling some really soul gut-wrenching pain at the time, I began to write. And luckily I can type fast. In 9th grade, I learned to type without looking, to type really fast, 120 words per minute plus. And I can still do it even today. So that's kind of crazy. Your old senile dad can still type fast. Hopefully I can maintain that for a while. Let me pause so I can get some water. Okay, got some water with some powder in it, some electrolyte powder, because I got really sweaty at yoga, girls. Okay, back to the power of journaling or your diary. So I started this journal March 2014, and I began to write. And the floodgates were open for my mind and my voice. My throat chakra opened up because I was in a very difficult time. Difficult times have one advantage. They have many disadvantages, so do not wish for difficult times. But when they come, the primary advantage is your throat chakra and your mental state of emoting and sharing will expand greatly. At least that's what happens to me. And again, I don't seek out hard times. They suck. But you can use it as a time to truly open up and share. And that's what my journal did for me. I've got hundreds of pages from that experience of 2014 and beyond. In fact, let me see what it was from March of 2014 to June of 2016. So just over 2 years of writing and hundreds of pages and pictures and thoughts. And you can see me go through a wrenching evolution of pain and agony and come out on June 2016 a little more grounded and centered and having a better sense of self, at least a little bit better sense of myself. As I wrote that journal, I constantly went back and read and learned and took stock, as a metaphor, took stock of where I was in the past and where the progress I was making. And I could see the growth that was happening each and every month. And I got to a point where by June of 2016, things weren't so bad. The divorce wasn't so bad. Some of the other experiences I was having that were hard were not so bad. If you go back many, many years to my 2016 videos or 2017-ish, you'll see me talk about twin flames and an experience I had with someone during 2014 through I would say it ended early 2017. There was kind of this merry-go-round whirlwind with a gal, and it ended, and it was also gut-wrenching to deal with because she kind of just disappeared on me without explanation. It was the first time I got kind of ghosted and disconnected from. And because it was the first time, it was so gut-wrenching and heartbreaking. And at least the first time I took real note of it, because she and I used to talk all the time. And then it ended, and it was like someone took a dagger in my gut. And I kind of feel that right now. I feel the dagger in my gut. I feel like I took a dagger and I stabbed my own gut, is what it feels like right now. So instead of someone else stabbing me, I had to stab myself in the gut for some mysterious reason. Anyways, I've been writing a lot right now in my journal to just try to make sense of things. And that's what I did during that time, especially from March 2014 to June 2016, is I really made an effort to try to make sense of things and share all my thoughts. A journal or a diary is a place to share everything. Can I say everything? Almost everything. I'll leave it at that. Almost everything. I've had a couple sacred and dark experiences that were too much even for my journal. And I'll leave it at that. But pretty much my journal contains everything raw and real. The good, the bad, and the ugly. There is nary a filter to the things I say, the swear words I use, to the anger and rage I express in certain situations I've come across throughout my journey. If I'm extremely angry and I'm raging like a red dragon with claws ready to rip to shreds anything that messes with me, I write about it, and I allow myself. My journal is the place that I become that. It is in my journal. I do not become that outside of my journal. It is explicitly there to absorb that state of being, that anger, that rage, that extreme sadness. All of it goes in my journal. And by doing so, I take it from my body and I type it, and it transfers as electronic characters in a document. Each time I do it, it comes out of me into the journal. And you can also take time by yourself to just yell and scream and just emote whatever you feel like saying. There's no judgment when you're by yourself. When you're by yourself, anything goes. Say whatever you got to say. But you leave it that way. You only ever take those extreme anger and sadness and raw and dark emotions. And it's getting kind of dark, but it's okay. I think you can see me still, even though I kind of looks funny, like I have a mask on. And you use your journal for those things. If you happen to have someone exceptionally special in your life, you could express those emotions in front of them. I haven't really been able to do that. I haven't been able to show my angry dragon side of me in front of someone, for instance. I haven't done it. I guess that's something I would like to be able to do, is to have the vulnerability and the trust, the extreme trust with someone, to show that rage and anger that I'm a human. I get it too sometimes. Or the extreme sadness where I'm wailing in agony. I have expressed that in front of people before. Anyways, the journal is the place for all raw emotions, everything, your struggles, your triumphs, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as I say, and you do not filter yourself. I've only filtered myself a couple times since March of 2014. So for 8 years, in 8 years, I can only think of 2, maybe 3 maximum journal entries that I omitted. 2, maybe 3 max. And one of them is like right now. I forewent a journal entry because it was too much, even for the journal. That's not something that happens very often. So you're right, and it is a place to just let the ego aside, let your ego aside, and say anything. Say every swear word, say every thought, let it all out. It is your place to be truly authentic. It is not quite the same to be around a group of people in a public setting and do that. It's not really socially calibrated or appropriate, but doing it in your journal is a very appropriate thing to do. And by doing so, you transfer those negative emotions into a journal, and you can go back and you can kind of go back and talk to your past self and give comfort. I've done that when I read my journal entries from March of 2014 and around that time, and the suffering I was going through. I can kind of like take my brain and recall the memories from that time period, and I replay those memories. And if I'm in my car, and I'm parked in my car, in that memory, I will open the passenger side of the car and sit down in the passenger seat next to my younger self. And I'll say, hey, it's going to be okay. And I add to my past memories as if I came in a time machine to my younger self, because I can replay those memories because I have my journal. I recorded in great detail what happened, and it makes it very easy to recall that past memory because it's recorded in great detail. So that's just a little trick of the trade, is you can rewire your past a little bit. I've done it for memories in my childhood, when I'm up in my room crying after getting abused, and I open a portal in my room as an 8-year-old, and I step through the portal and talk to my 8-year-old self, the young boy who's confused about what just happened. So that's another advantage of your journal or diary. I share all the successes and the wins in my journal, the things that go well. I talk about my yoga classes and my progress that I'm making, and it's good. I'm making good progress. I share my hopes and dreams and goals in my journal. I have some goals for this year that I'm trying to accomplish. I do mention people in my journal. There's a lot of people I've come across in the last 8 years. Tons of them. A lot of them have been primarily from dating. But there's other people as well that I've just run across, and I mention them in my journal as well. If the experience is significant, they get mentioned in my journal. Ellie and Sienna, guess what? You guys are in my journal a lot too. In fact, I try to write my journal nowadays as if I'm talking to you girls, so that if you choose to read it, it's like I'm talking to you. The journal is also a historical record of you. I'm 44. I'm starting to become more interested in genealogy and the importance of it. Because when your parents and siblings pass on, when they die, you can go to their grave, and that's it. You lose. You lose the ability to talk to them in a conversation and to be present with them in a real life setting. And that's something we take for granted while we have it. At least I do, because you don't know what you have till it's gone, is unfortunately how most of us humans experience reality. There's only nary one or two people in this earth that I know that have transcended that human limitation. So use it as a way to create an archive of yourself for future posterity. For my journals upon my death, whether that's soon or 60 years from now, or I plan to have these journals made public to the world. And by then, all the people mentioned in them, it'll be irrelevant. They'll all be old and senile or dead. That's my hope anyways. But I leave no stone unturned with my journals. Largely no stone unturned. And were you to read my journals, Ellie and Sienna, you're going to see all the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of me. There are some really dark journal entries, because that is the truth of what was happening at that time. The journal is the place to encapsulate and to completely embrace the truth without filtering it, without sugarcoating it, without trying to hide things. There is nothing I hide in my journals. It is all laid out on a platter as, here you go, crucify me because I'm already dead. But I think there's a lot of learnings and experiences that are valuable in my journal as well. But I know that there's some things in my journal that when they get read, it's like, well, I wonder what someone's going to think about that. And then part of me wants to do a YouTube video or like a video series where I just read through my entire journals, like a 10-hour video where I share my screen and just read through my journals. That'd be kind of crazy. Maybe I'll do that when I get older. I'll post like a 5-hour YouTube video of each journal and just scroll through the journal entries and pictures and talk about why I was feeling certain ways at the given moments. And it's an interesting idea. I'm going to put that one on the shelf. So the truth. Your journal is a place for the truth, your story, as seen from your eyes, not from anyone else's. Do not try to make your journal, your diary, written to appease to someone else. You write it for yourself. It is for you. It is for your voice, your perspective, your opinions. That's what your journal is for. You do not write your journal to try and please someone else who you think might read it. Absolutely not. It is for your voice and your voice alone. So that's what's this called? The power of journaling or your diary. And you can reference past entries. This is my 7th file I've created. I'm doing one per year now. A journal entry per year. Started with 2014, March 2014 to June 2016, July 2016 to September 2017, October 2017 to December 2018, and then the year 2019, 2020, 2021, and now 2022. There's some very personal and sacred and dark things in my journal. Even though I said I had 2, maybe 3 experiences I didn't share, there's still some very incredibly personal, sacred, and dark things in my journal. I allow myself to feel anger in my journal in darkness because it's like storing it in a container, not to be unleashed except stored. And then if I need to, I allow myself to just in private let it all out. And then once I've dumped it all out, I can generally move through the world in a peaceful, calm state. And it is a top priority for me. My journals have been a tool for me to primarily move through the world in a generally calm and centered state without variation. And I would rather have someone come up to me and confront me and threaten me and kill me in public than to fight and cause a ruckus. And there's many people who would say that's a horrible idea, but I believe so much in peace and the importance of peace and how frivolous and worthless fighting and arguing and disagreeing is. Just something I felt like sharing. And my journal helps me be in that state. Now, of course, my daughters and people I care about, if they're being attacked, of course I'm going to help. It's not like I just going to do nothing all the time, but I'm talking about me in my own life. Nothing is important to me. I'm willing to give my life for peace, because this world needs peace. So many wars, and so many people fighting, so many people angry and aggressive. It's disheartening to me. It makes me incredibly sad. So my journal helps me to not channel that out to anyone or out into the world. But I'm human, and I have it just like anyone else. So you girls, if it is part of your path, if you feel inspired to do so, a journal or a diary may be in your best interest in whatever way makes sense to you. Maybe you do a video diary. Maybe you do a picture diary. Or Sienna, you like pictures. I could see you doing a picture diary if that was within your realm of inspiration. Ellie, I think I could see you being a writer because of the way your mind thinks. Okay, girls, the power of journaling or your diary. Hope this was helpful. Hopefully it helps you understand me and why I'm doing it. And leave it all in the journal. It is your personal place for everything. And there's a car alarm outside. Namaste, you two beautiful souls, Ellie and Sienna, and whoever else is watching. I'll see you in the next video.